Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's edition of the Blockchain Developer Weekly Digest, the show that keeps you up to date with everything that has happened in the blockchain development world over the last week. As usual, I'm your host George, and this week, for this episode, I have news for you from Etalime, from Truffle, from Slither. There is a new CLI tool like Pocket Knife, Swiss Army Knife, CLI tool coming from Zeppelin. That's going to be super useful for auditors and developers, and there is a new decentralized storage solution. So without any further ado, let's get started. So first piece of news comes from Etalime. Etalime 1.2.0 is here. So with this version, I was able to deploy and verify on Etherscan a smart contract on the mainnet in under 30 seconds. So this is a super major update of Etalime. It's extremely cool. And here is how all of this happens. So now with this version, you can modify your deployment scripts to all use, in addition to the deployer.deploy function, you can also use the deployer.deploy and verify function, where you can specify Etherscan API key in the default overrides. And this function, in addition to deploying your smart contract, is also going to try and use the API to verify your smart contract. All of this works for Ropsten, Kovan, Rinkebai, Goerli, and mainnet, everything that pretty much Etherscan supports. Coolest part is, as usual, the team of Etalime, we advise you against storing your API keys in files in your repository. So there is actually a CLI option to the Etalime deploy command where you can pass your API key and then pass it down to your deploy and verify function. So with this major update of Etalime and this major functionality, we hope that we are going to alleviate the painful hours or at least minutes that are needed by developers in order to verify their smart contracts, figure out how many, whether they have started the optimizer, how many runs they have performed over the optimizer, exactly what version of the Solidity compiler has been used. Etalime knows everything in all of this and can automatically pass this to Etherscan API. So shout out to Etherscan team for helping make all of this work. And this is pretty much the update from Etalime. The documentation is updated. There are minor enhancements and bug fixes. And you can see everything in the link that is in the description. Another news comes from Truffle. As usual, Truffle has a new version, 5.0.18. In this version, it's mainly bug fixes and enhancements. One cool thing that I saw in this release is that now when you are going for Truffle tests, Truffle test command, the framework is actually checking the liveness of the network that you are executing the tests against. So you'll know even beforehand whether the network is up. Another update comes from Slither. Slither has a new version, 0.6.4. And in this version there are new detectors and there is a new utility called Slither CMIL. The new detectors are for ERC721 contracts and for unchecked low-level calls, if you are performing call without checking results and whether it has been successful, and of course unchecked sends. And Slither CMIL is pretty much a utility in Slither that allows you to figure out similarity of codes, to perform code similarity checks. And a new tool coming from Zeppelin is Pocket. It's like Pocket but ending with H. And it is pretty much a Swiss Army pocket knife for CLI 2 for auditors and developers. I know that this sounds ambiguous, so here is what pretty much Pocket does. So for auditors and developers that just want to inspect or audit certain smart contracts, there are these little things, little inconveniences that you need to write code for in order to figure out, or you need to to go to figure out ABIs or through Etherscan to go and check transactions, decode parameters, etc., etc. So the team at Zeppelin has developed Pocket as a solution for these minor inconveniences, and there is a CLI tool that allows you to do a lot of stuff that you have to do manually or by programming. So here is a list of some of the things that Pocket can do, and you can see in the description all the things that Pocket can do. I will point to the GitHub page of this CLI tool. It's available through NPM. So, for example, it can list all function selectors of a contract. It can print out the inheritance tree of a contract. You can pretty much see this contract, what is this contract inheriting. You can search for past events of a deployed contract, or you can search for transactions made to a deployed contract, and you can pretty much filter it based on a particular function. Also, you can disassemble the contract's bytecode, and these are just 5 of the things that you can do with Pocket. You can do much more, so link is in the description. Go ahead and check it out, Pocket. And last but not least, the awesome team of Scale, a project/product that I have been unaware, and pardon my ignorance because they are doing amazing job. So this team has developed a new decentralized storage concept. So Scale, the project that I looked into, pretty much develops something that's called elastic sidechains. It's a scalability solution, pretty much sidechains. It's like subnodes inside the nodes, and it's sidechains of such elastic sidechain nodes. So going back to decentralized storage, they have modified their elastic sidechain nodes so that they can actually have a decentralized storage inside. You can store up to 100 megabytes on elastic sidechains. And the cool part is that unlike IPFS, where you have data availability problems, because pretty much only the projects that are using the data are the ones that are pinning it. Nobody has an incentive to pin your data. Therefore, if your node crashes and your database gets corrupt, you pretty much can lose all your data. Therefore, this is why people are making clusters. And this is the data availability problem that is presented by a current version of IPFS, because there are no incentivization mechanisms for people to pin each other's data. And in Scale decentralized storage, there is actually such incentivization mechanisms for people to actually replicate the data between different elastic sidechain nodes. So how all of this goes, pretty much every file that needs to be uploaded there is divided by chunks of 1 megabyte, and the uploader pays 0.018 per megabyte uploaded data. Coolest part, there is actually a JavaScript library that allows you to interact with the elastic sidechains decentralized storages, where you can easily create such a file, actually upload such a file. All of this is going to be seen on the mainnet through a Solidity file, and you can also delete such files there, and you can obviously download them there. So Scale is a project that I personally will keep a lot an eye over the next months and going on forward, because they have done amazing things. I would try and learn as much as I can about their decentralized storage, because it seems a super awesome concept, and I advise you to do the same. And with this piece of news, this pretty much concludes everything that I have for you this week, guys. As usual, don't forget to click the subscribe button so that you pretty much are up to date with all the videos that are here. In order for you to have a live notifications, click the bell icon. For Twitter, don't forget to follow me at Twitter/@gspasov. And as usual, just keep building. See ya.